Yeah, all these things I had to like really kind of overcook them. Celery was really tough on me. I couldn't, somebody actually recommended on one of the comments that I try celery juice, and somebody else said that that was horrible for them. I was the same.
Next question. I tried starting some live probiotics alongside my anti-inflammatory medication, and they both reacted with each other. How did you manage to wean yourself off the medication and start introducing the natural alternatives? Oh, that's a question. That's all you on that one.
Honestly, I don't want to really give advice on how to get you to wean yourself off of your medication. I think the best thing to do in this case, because I'm not a doctor, I decided, like I said in the video, I decided to do this for myself, and I took my health, and it was 100% my response. I took it into my own hands and it became my own responsibility, and I just decided to stop taking one pill at a time, but it took me months. Like, I would cut one pill out at a time. In the case of taking medication and supplements, I would always recommend that you take them apart from each other anyway. I think any naturopathic doctor or doctor in general would say to wait 2 hours before taking medication and supplements. And even in that case, some supplements also have to be taken away from other supplements. So you really need to work with somebody on that. And if it is something that you're really serious about, trying to wean yourself off your medication, then I would recommend you either maybe talk to a holistic practitioner of some sort or a naturopathic doctor, and they're gonna be able to get you to a place where you can maybe start doing that. Other than that, I can't really tell you how I did it, other than the fact that I just would wait until I felt ready to cut one other pill out, and that's kind of what I did. But I don't really want to tell you to do that because I don't want to get in trouble. So
I could see how the probiotics could start mixing with some of these medications too. You can start to do some wonky things with each other, and that's you know, that's something to.
Yeah, definitely wait from taking like at least 2 hours before you're taking medication and supplements. And then of course, like interactions, like things like fish oil, which are also really great for people with irritable bowel diseases and stuff like that. Again, somebody on my channel said that fish oils were really bad, and I say fish oil, but I was taking krill oil, and I still think I would kind of recommend that. We also sell, and we also take now a hemp seed oil, and that's actually made from hemp seeds, so it's hemp product, not CBD oil. It's not medical marijuana or anything like that. But I think that that's really important because omega-3s are really anti-inflammatory, and the reason why I say hemp seed oil, it does have 6 and 9, and people say it's pro-inflammatory if you take omega-6, but not in the form of hemp seeds, and it contains a high amount of GLA, so you might want to look into that too. But the reason why I was saying that is because a lot of fish oils taken with certain types of medications, that especially blood thinners, can actually make your blood too thin. So you might want to check that with a doctor too, just in case you're on anything like that.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. So, very good and motivational video. You are an angel. That's very nice.
Thank you.
One little question, very little question.
Yeah.
How many servings of fruits would you advise me to eat? I think I have leaky gut and SIBO. I know it is particular to each person, but what is the general amount of fruits I should eat, and which are separately and with or separately from meals?
Okay.
Well, separate from meals. I would probably throw that one out there right away. Not to mix fruit with your meal. Period. Yeah,
that's a really good question, and I think it's really important not to mix. Again, in the beginning, if you've got major issues like I did, I would say keep your fruit even to a minimum in the beginning. But if you're at a place where you can actually eat fruit, then I would say maybe 1 or 2 pieces of fruit a day. Even like 2 might even be overkill. And I basically have like an apple or a banana a day. That's pretty much it. And my banana, I put that into my shake, or sometimes I have a green apple or something like that with some. My favorite is to put have a green apple with almond butter on it. It's so good as a snack. The other thing is, what was the other question? Oh, eating your fruit and other foods at the same time? No, I would not do that. I know a lot of people are famous for putting fruit inside a salad, and I do that sometimes now, but I definitely wouldn't do that in the past, because we also read a diet about food combining, and your body does require different enzymes to digest fruit as it does to digest protein and vegetables. Vegetables and fats and proteins seem to be okay when you mix them, but fruit uses a completely different enzyme, and really when you start to dilute those enzymes or mix them all together, that's when you're going to start to have some digestive issues. So fruit, keep them apart at least a couple hours. Fruit is, they say you should actually eat your fruit kind of in the morning, and then later on. You don't agree with that?
I don't know about that, but
well, I've read in the past that you should eat them more in the morning, and then later on towards the night you should have your heavier meals. But again, Kevin doesn't agree, so
yeah. Well, I mean, even the Body Ecology talks about that too on the food combining section. She recommends not, you know, keeping fruit away from your meals, regular meals. So that's a big one. And
he mentioned here you have SIBO. I've been hearing a lot of people that have SIBO lately. So if everybody's wondering what SIBO is, it's actually small intestinal bacterial, a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, I believe that's what it stands for, and that actually grows in the small intestine right after the stomach. And this is becoming a major problem. It's becoming a major problem because a lot of people are getting this, and it's being induced by antibiotics. And that's where I believe it's a particular bacteria actually is able to move its way up from the colon and into the small intestine where it shouldn't be, and then it overgrows there. In that case, I don't know, but take a look and look into this. It's very, very potent though. Look into fulvic acid. I will include some information down below, but please do look into that, because I've heard that fulvic acid is very good at eradicating SIBO. Again, I don't have SIBO, so I have no experience with it, but you might want to look into that. You might also want to look into something like liquid zeolites, because I've heard that that can help with SIBO as well. Yep. So I guess we'll go to the next question.
Okay, next question. Great review.
Thank you.
Everything fit to what I've been working on to heal my eczema.
Yes.
However, I always fail by consuming foods such as potato chips, sweets, and grains. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. Especially the potato chips. That was
We're human. I know.
I didn't really care so much for the chocolate and all that stuff, but when I had to give up I had to give up. That's another thing, people. You have to give up the starchy vegetables too, like potatoes. I couldn't eat those either, and some other ones like turnip and stuff like that. Yep. But yeah, potato chips sucks because I really love potato chips, and I actually have incorporated them back into my diet now. I try to make it healthy, or you get a food dehydrator. You can make your own kind of like potato chip out of vegetables in a food dehydrator.
Speaking of eczema, if that's what you're dealing with, yeah, I can relate to skin problems. I know potato chips and these sweets and grains, coffee, alcohol. If you were ever to have like a drink or a glass of wine, those things
beer was a problem for him, and wine was a problem for him because of the what's it called in wine.
Yeah, the sulfites
was a problem in the wine.
Didn't work well with me, so that would show in my skin always. Next morning, I'd wake up and I'd be like, "What the heck's going on here?" So I know what you're saying.
And anytime you have something wrong with your skin, you really have to think that that's because there are things getting out into the blood. So things that are on the skin that might help are blood cleansers. So look for supplements that help with that, like drinking chlorophyll in your water. You can find a supplement to add chlorophyll to that. It'll help to clean out the blood and hopefully help with your skin ailments that way too. But of course, sticking to an anti-inflammatory diet.
I have ulcerative colitis, recently diagnosed with it. Your video contains very good information. Any sources where I can get more?
I'm so sorry that you were just diagnosed with this. It sucks, and I want you to know though, it will get better if you work at it. Like I did, it will get better, and you can live a normal life again. I live quite normally now. And as for the sources, the first video that I did, if you look down below, I believe in the description, I pretty much linked to a lot of the things that I talked about. So if you're looking for additional information, you can find it there. If there's going to be any more information to add to that after answering all these questions, I will probably list that down below in the description as well. And again, I hope you feel better soon.
And there's those 3 books we've been talking about too, right?
Yes.
The Body Ecology diet, the GAPS diet, and the specific carbohydrate diet.
And
those three are great for anything to do with digestive illnesses, especially this one. So worth reading. I've read all 3 of them. They were really foundational for understanding what the heck was really going on in the beginning. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, next question. How can you help me, please? I have ulcerative colitis in my rectum, and they are bleeding. I am from India. Please suggest something.
Again, I think I responded to this question. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that. It puts me kind of in a tough place. I again did have bleeding. I had to do this diet very diligently, as well as the supplements that I've mentioned, as well as answering all these questions. So I would say, please watch that video, look at all the information I posted in that description, and of course, you know, maybe pull from some of the answers that I'm giving on this video here. And hopefully with time that bleeding will stop. In the meantime, if you can't get it under control yourself, I do really recommend that you see somebody who's a holistic practitioner. If you're in India, I know that there's a lot of Ayurvedic practitioners out that way. You might want to maybe consult with an Ayurvedic practitioner of some sort, and they might be able to help you as well. That's the best information, or the best advice I could give you right now, because that's what I did, and eventually my bleeding did stop. However, if it's profuse and you can't get it under control, please do talk to your doctor.
Next question. Thank you. This was very helpful to me. What do you think about kombucha?
Kombucha. I don't know what I think about kombucha.
Well, kombucha is, especially if you have a serious digestive illness like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's,
I'd say
kombucha
no.
is a wild ferment.
Yes, and it's a yeast, not
if you look at
necessarily
these three diets that we've
probiotic.
been talking about, they always use a controlled culture starter.
Right.
Controlled. It's not wild.
Right.
Wild ferments can produce all kinds of different things that have been shown to really cause a lot of digestive distress.
Yes.
So use caution on that one.
Yes, I mean, if you can find one that works for you and you're okay with the yeasts and things like Saccharomyces boulardii and stuff like that right off the bat, then by all means go ahead. If you can eat things like brewer's yeast and all that, and like they don't bother you, then I don't see a problem. I know that they can give you B vitamins. I don't know if kombucha will, but they really bothered me. I had to stay away from nutritional.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, like it really bothered me. And another one of my friends that has gut dysbiosis also got very distended, very bloaty, a lot of issues with that. So I would say no. It's also not allowed on most of the diets that we mentioned.
I don't think any of these three diets recommend anything.
Yeah, you're not.
At all.
Yeah, you're not allowed any type of wild yeast on that diet. If you're gonna even do, some people make the coconut kefir water, and that has a yeast, a grain in it, but that's actually not even recommended either. It's recommended to buy the controlled starter to do the controlled starter. So when we say coconut kefir, you need to not get those little fatty looking kind of grains that you put in water and stuff. You add, like, I know that a lot of people will regrow their grains and keep them for many years, but the thing is, if you don't take care of them, they can actually go kind of AWOL and become kind of a bad yeast.
You can get them at, I think, even bodyecology.com. I think that Donna Gates there that wrote that book, she sells all the starters there too. So
we'll include that.
I use them. They're good. Those are the ones I used. So
yeah, I would do that. I think Mercola sells controlled starters.
There's a few of them. There's a few of them you can get.
Find them at natural health food stores now too. So I would really recommend sticking to those, because
be cautious with kombucha. That's all I think.
Yeah,
especially if you have serious gut problems.
I would say no in the beginning. I mean, you could try it, but I'd say no. For me, it was a no.
Okay, next question. My mom says she thinks I have leaky gut. Oh.
Listen to your mommy. No, I'm just joking.
Listen to your mother.
Listen to your mother.
I honestly have no idea where she's even getting that from, or what makes her think that. That's interesting. I could have guessed, or I could have asked her, I guess. I don't have any stomach problems or anything. I've communicated that to her. I do get heartburn, but that's it. I think she just doesn't like the foods I eat, but I don't eat them. I don't eat that bad, I don't think. Okay.
One thing I want to say is, you said you don't have stomach problems, but then you said you get heartburn. Heartburn is a stomach problem. And I had heartburn for years.
If it's more chronic.
Yeah, if it's chronic,
like a big pizza and
then you get a heartburn.
Okay. If it's coming, surfacing itself over and over again, then that might be a symptom to pay attention.
I mean, well, heartburn in itself is a problem. It means that you're not digesting your food properly. It's always a problem. I mean, if you're getting it once in a blue moon, okay, but if you're having heartburn a couple times a week, this is something to pay attention to now, because you're not digesting your food properly. In that case, maybe a digestive enzyme might help with that and to prevent the heartburn. Again, I don't recommend things with aluminum like Tums and all that stuff, because I think that stuff actually depletes some of the acids in your stomach, and that's not usually why a lot of people get heartburn. A lot of people get heartburn because they don't have enough acid in their stomach to digest what they've eaten, or you've eaten something like overly fried or like highly, like a fatty substance or something, or you're missing your gallbladder and you can't digest fats. Like, again, you'll have to modify your diet to your own personal, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You'll have to modify your diet, but I'm saying,
pay attention to that.
Yeah.
If it's just simple as, you know, you've got indigestion and these types of things, don't let that go.
Yeah, I did that for years, and that's what I did. I had indigestion.
Some people think it's normal. Oh, I get heartburn, it's fine.
And my primary thing was, oh yeah, I have heartburn, and then the next day I was like, oh, I ate something, my stomach hurts, or I ate something, oh, now I'm really bloaty, and I let that go for like a good 10 years. And then I ended up where I was. So don't let that go. Correct those issues now before they become a problem. Like, a lot of people, we wait, and that was my problem. I waited until it became a problem before I started to deal with it. And it
sounds like this is mother's intuition on this one.
Yeah, so maybe you should,
she's onto something.
Maybe you should listen to your mom.
Yeah, listen to your mommy. What about fresh turmeric tea? One I would make myself. I guess that's the question. What about fresh turmeric tea?
I think you should put turmeric into your curcumin or turmeric, or they're the same thing anyway. I think you should put that into your diet as much as possible. It's an amazing antioxidant. It has plenty of anti-inflammatory properties, so it's going to be great for you that way. If you can make a tea with it, power to you. Definitely.
We didn't do that though.
I never did.
We never did that. We never did a turmeric tea, so we don't really have.
But I put turmeric on a lot of food, and I put turmeric in my chicken broth and my chicken soup. Every time we made chicken soup, we put turmeric powder into that. So that's kind of, I guess,
cooking with it for sure. Tea, I don't know. I mean, try it.
Absolutely. I think
why not?
It wouldn't hurt. I actually take turmeric pills today. I couldn't take them in the beginning though, because they were kind of hard on my stomach, but I do take turmeric pills now. Again, great. I even worked for a nutraceutical company for 8 years, and in one of our primary supplements that we made for people with ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, it was a powder that you would mix with water. It was primarily turmeric. So yes, turmeric's good. Do turmeric.
Okay, all these diseases basically cured by one diet, and to summarize your video, eat fermented food and do carnivore diet. Milk, veggies, and grains, pretty much carb and sugars are evil. That's not even a question, is it?
I don't know what that is, but I'll answer that. No. I actually think I responded to this question.
All these diseases cured by one diet? No.
No. You won't
No.
cure any. I mean, you diet alone. I want to address this, because the thing is I think a lot of people think doing this one video. I have an entire channel of all the things that I've done to get well again, with my autoimmune disease, as well as my Lyme disease, as well as his Lyme disease, MS, and glaucoma, and all these things. We have done a lot of things. Diet alone is not the end all be all. I want to tell people that. I think it's important to take into account that you need to address your body. You need to address the mind, body, and soul. I know that some people are going to roll their eyes at this, but really you need to address nutrition. You need to address toxic things in your environment, and that would be like cleaning products and like the things that you put on your skin. We do a lot of electromedicine, we do a lot of light therapy, saunas, things like that. Things to constantly get the body to get rid of the toxins in your body is very important. Eating well is very important. Finding ways to relax and reduce stress, especially with gut diseases and gut ailments, is very, very important, because I used to be a stress case. I still kind of am, into some extent, and I would notice that anytime I was stressing out, I would actually create more of a problem for myself, and my inflammation would go through the roof. And the reason for that is probably because I was increasing a lot of inflammatory hormones like cortisol, and then reducing magnesium. When you stress out, you reduce the magnesium. So again, find something to do that way, and then work with somebody on a spiritual level too. Like, I don't know, I don't really care if you have a religion or you don't have a religion or whatever it be. Just find peace in who you are, where you are, what you're doing in your life. These are all the things you need to take into account. The other thing is, you mentioned there...
Just going back to diet, I mean, for me with Lyme disease, if I look at diet, it was like hardly really, it didn't have much of that much influence on how I got well. I mean, it did, but I would put it there's so much more above that I had to address. So
right, and there's a lot of things. The other thing is, in that question, he says, do a carnivore diet. No, we are not carnivores. I know, I've read that diet, and I think people eat steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we don't eat steaks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It says, what was the other thing in there? It says something about grains. You're right, we don't eat grains, and we don't eat sugar. We do eat veggies, and we don't eat milk generally. No.
Any fermented foods, yeah.
Yeah, and fermented foods.
We still eat them on as much as we can, so
yeah.
Sure.
Not as much as we used to, but we are definitely doing that a little bit more.
So I think we've addressed all the questions.
Have we? Okay.
Yeah.
What was the... Okay, so I just kind of go over some of this stuff because I didn't mention this in the first video, and I had a video I've done. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I've done a series on supplements. If you guys haven't seen that, because a lot of you guys are asking me about supplements, please do check those out. However, my last video I had to take down because I was talking about stuff that apparently I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube, or I was told to take it down for that reason. So I just want to address something that Kevin and I have found has been helpful. A lot of people, again, this is not me telling you to do this. I mean, in Canada, this is legal now, and you can go to a cannabis clinic. However, somebody had asked me what I did to actually get rid of some of the pain in my stomach when it was at its worst. And I did use medical marijuana, because smoking marijuana did really help to stop some of the basically the overabundance of contractions I was getting to go to the bathroom 20 times a day. Plus I was down to 88 pounds and I needed to put on some healthy weight, and that also helped me to induce hunger. So I did it for that reason. Another thing is hemp seed oil is very great for you too. Just to kind of read off some of the things here, it's got 45 nutrients in it. I mean, sorry, there are 45 nutrients that the human body can't live without, nor can our bodies manufacture. 24 minerals, 13 vitamins, 8 amino acids. So this contains all of this stuff. It also contains the essential fatty acids of omega-3, 6, and 9 that the body needs to the exacting amount. And the one that we actually carry contains 4 times the amount of GLA in comparison to others. Again, this is not me just trying to sell you on that stuff. I'm just telling you, if you wanted to try other hemp seed oils, they could be beneficial as well. Again, vitamin C was something that I took religiously in the beginning because it did help with my inflammation. Helped his inflammation a lot as well. And it's not just any vitamin C. I will link down below to the ones that I recommend. It is liposomal or lipospheric vitamin C, and that's your supplement video. Huh? Yeah, no, I had to cut that out of my last video too, because it was linked to when I was talking about medicinal marijuana and CBD. I mentioned the krill oil already because somebody had mentioned something about not taking fish oils on the channel. And again, I would agree with you guys. Like, fish oils, there are a lot of problems with a lot of the fish oils that are out there. A lot of them are rancid, a lot of them are poor quality, a lot of them we have no idea where this stuff is coming from, and that's an issue. But the other issue is that a lot of people with gut diseases, and any disease for that matter, especially when it comes to autoimmune diseases, are lacking in omega-3s, 6, and 9 in the proper ratio. And this, you can look this up. There's tons of research out there that if you take omega-3s, or you at least balance out the omega-3, 6, specifically the 3 and 6, but hemp oil has 9, then you'll have less inflammation. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I know a lot of people don't like to eat fish. And we eat fish. I know there are a lot of people are like, oh, there's mercury in fish and whatever. I mean, we stick to eating cold water fish and wild caught stuff. And I think at this point, yes, there is going to be mercury in some of the fish. There's going to be lead and a lot of things that are natural too. There's going to be a lot of these things. You can't avoid them all. So that's why we take something like a liquid zeolites and a fulvic, because it'll pull all that stuff out of your body as you're putting that stuff in. But there is really no supplement for fish. There is none. It has got the best source in my opinion. Not for omega-3 in my opinion. And it doesn't come in a particular position that Kevin is more versed on than I am, in the SN2 position that a doctor that we follow, he's a neurosurgeon, his name is Dr. Jack Cruz. He talks about it often, about how it's very necessary to be eating fish because it helps to replenish various different things in your body, especially around the brain and the eyes and things like that, and of course in the gut. So If you don't want to eat fish, I don't know what to tell you other than you would maybe try krill and take your chances that way, or you would do a hemp seed oil that you know is from a very, very clean source. But again, that's not going to give you the best source of omega-3, but it will give you some, because what you're really looking for is DHA. And that's what the body uses predominantly, is the DHA.
In the right package.
In the right package, exactly.
Evolutionary kind of SM2 package is what we're talking about here, and it only comes from the seafood in its original package, not extracted like in an oil. It doesn't, it's not in the same format.
I think something else on the milk thing, because I've talked about milk quite often. I just wanted to go back to that. There was a book that I had read a long time ago where it was addressing a group of people that lived in a tribe, I believe in Africa somewhere. And they were talking about these people had never, because a lot of people were like, well, if I don't drink milk, how am I going to get my calcium? And there are plenty of ways to get calcium. I don't actually recommend calcium supplements, and maybe I'll get into that in another video. I don't recommend calcium supplements, but I don't recommend getting your calcium from milk either, because I think milk can actually, depending on what kind of milk it is, and if it's not raw, then it can be causing acidosis in the body, which means it's actually making the body more acidic, and then you're pulling away from your bones too. And they actually showed that countries where we drink and consume a lot of milk, we tend to have more bone ailments. I think like England tends to be a place where they like to consume a lot of milk, and even the Western world, and we tend to have a lot of problems with our teeth, and we have a lot of problems with the bone. And there was this, sorry, back to this tribe that they don't drink any milk after weaning, and they had never had any documented bone ailments within that tribe. Majority of all their calcium and stuff like that was coming from nuts and seed sources and stuff like that, and from meats and stuff like that. So I don't think, you know, don't worry about the calcium if you're not drinking the milk. I think there are plenty of other ways. You just need to find other ways to get that in. I haven't had a glass of milk
in like 12 years.
Yeah, I haven't had a glass of milk.
I probably get more calcium now than I ever did too.
Yeah, so like, I mean, a lot of people worry about that, especially women. They're like, well, you know, osteoporosis and stuff like, well, I was, they already said I had early onset of osteoporosis, and I do plenty of calcium.
Things. That's not what the problem is.
Yeah, and the other thing with osteoporosis, I mean, with calcium, just to say, kind of wrap this all up now, is you need a few other things in order for the calcium to make its way into your bones. So if you're not filling up on things like, if you don't have enough vitamin D, K2, magnesium is a lot more important in this. Getting more magnesium is a lot more important for bone ailments, and the reason for that is because all of our soil is depleted of magnesium, where you can still get calcium from some of our soil-based products and meats and stuff like that, whereas magnesium is really hard. So if you want to supplement with something, maybe it should be more magnesium rather than calcium. If you start putting calcium into the body when you don't have these other three nutrients, then what ends up happening is you can actually have free-floating calcium through the body, and that can harden and become a problem in the arteries or in the kidneys, causing stones, and then calcification inside of your arteries, and then lend to things like stroke and heart attack. And then it could also cause an issue where you're not really taking up the calcium, so you're still ending up with those bone ailments. So it's kind of a problem that way. So that's why I don't recommend calcium supplements. I think that's it.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have any more questions,
fire away.
You can leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those.
I might do the same thing too about some of the dental videos I've done.
Yes.
A lot of people are asking questions, and sometimes it's good to bring these questions in the same format too, especially about that stuff. So we might be doing that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do that very shortly, because we've had quite a bit of questions on that already. So that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't liked this video, please do like it and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell up above. That will also give you guys notifications when we do upload new videos, so you don't have to keep checking back, because I know I haven't been good at uploading every week. Again, I don't know that we will. I'm not going to say that we will, so it'll just be as we have time to do them. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.